Hey, JC Star here. I want to talk to you a little bit today about hair. Of course, I don't have any, but I'll tell you how that came to be too. But I've been through relationships where hair was a problem. Not a problem, but uh, an issue in a lot of my relationships. Hair. And the reason for that is I'm very allergic to certain things, allergies. I have allergies. It's not as bad as they used to be, but I had a lot of allergies growing up where I had to use unscented everything. And the one thing that we take for granted is predictive programming. And what I mean by that is how we're brainwashed into believing all these things that we believe today. For instance, shampoo. Where did shampoo come from? Who came into our lives and said we have to have shampoo to wash our hair and conditioner? And when you think about that, what did we use before somebody came up with we have to use shampoos and conditioners? What do we use? And hair was still beautiful. Went out to a beautiful lake and jumped in the lake and swam, and your hair was fine. All of a sudden somebody come out of the blue sky and create shampoo and conditioner and say we need this, we have to use this for a fee. For a fee. Okay? Now, from what I've seen in my years, and I'm not an expert or nothing, I look at my head right now, okay? So this is experience, okay? Now, from what I've seen from a lot of women in my relationships is they use a shampoo. And it smells great because, what does women look for when they go find a shampoo? They want to smell it. If it smells beautiful, this is the one. And then you use that shampoo. And your hair is nice and fluffy and beautiful. And you're, oh, it's so fluffy. And it's good for a while. And what happens after a while? Maybe a year go by, or a year or two. You're using the same shampoo. Then you realize it's not working that well anymore. There's no fluffiness. It's more dried out. And so what do you do? What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You go pick out another shampoo. And then you use it. Oh, it's nice and fluffy and shiny. After time goes by, it's not working so well. It's dried out. Your hair is more dried out. You're noticing a little bit of gray. What do? You go get another shampoo and conditioner. But what you're not understanding, and a lot of people don't get it, you're not looking at the ingredients. Look at the ingredients. Most shampoos have sulfate and silicone in them. Do you know what that is? Well, when you get a shampoo and you rub it in that hair, it lathers up. It lathers up. Oh, you got all these suds and everything. That's the chemical. Sulfate and silicone is the chemical that makes the lather. Okay? It ain't got shit to do with cleaning your goddamn hair. It's to make the lather that gives you the false belief that it's cleaning your hair. And it is cleaning your hair. Yes, it is. It's making more lather, but you're putting that silicone and sulfate in your hair every time you use it. And I don't care how beautiful and good your hair is, it's going to dry out over time. It's going to dry out. Depending on your hair type, it might go 3 years, 4 years, 1 year, months. Depends on your hair type. But it's going to dry out. And what happens when your hair dries out? It falls out. So it's something for you women to think about every time you comb in your hair and you look down on the floor and you see hair and everything all over the place. Something to think about. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for everything. You just got to think with your mind and not your emotions. See, your emotions, thinking with your emotions, because that's what you women do. You're going to go try to find a different shampoo with the same sulfate and silicone in it. Plus other different ingredients that brings back that shininess and everything that you are brainwashed to believe. So, I'm a victim of that. Okay? I used shampoo. You know, as I got older, time went by, my hair just dried out more and more and more. Got gray. The more you use it, you know, you think a lot of it's old age. I mean, some of it's old age. When you get old, your hair gets gray. But what you don't know is these chemicals you're putting in your hair, they ain't slowing it down for you, okay? They're speeding it up. Okay? So what do then? You do what I did. After your hair dries out so much, and it gets grayer faster. So I started dyeing my hair. The answer to everything, dye it. Dye your hair. Well, the chemicals in that dye that you're using is going to dry your hair out more, and it's going to make it grow. If you notice, the more you dye your hair, anybody who started dyeing, and you know, tell the truth, okay? You're looking at me right now, but let's be truthful. Every time you dyed your hair, didn't it get grayer faster? Didn't you get more gray? That's because the chemicals in that dye is killing your hair and the cells in your hair even faster. So what do you do then? You keep dyeing it. So now you're spending extra money on dye. Because now, every time you dye your hair, it's like being addicted to a drug. Every time you dye your hair, it's going to get grayer. So you're going to have to dye it more and more and more and more and more often, spending that money. So what happens after, you know, too much of anything ain't no good for you in this world? Hell, most of the stuff in this world ain't good for you anyway. So what happens when you take too much of anything? Your hair starts falling out, starts killing the cells altogether, and your hair just falls out. Every time you comb your hair, you see a bunch of hair. Your hair gets grayer, you dye it more, it falls out more. That's what happened to me. And then the last time I dyed my hair, I put that stuff on my head, and all of a sudden, this last time I did it, I was bald right here. Killed the brain, killed the hair cells in my head right here. I was bald, right back here. I was bald. And baldness don't run in my family of men. But I was bald here. I couldn't grow no hair right here no more. And unlike a lot of men that don't care, they walk around with a bald spot and a little bit of hair around here. That ain't me. No. I ain't gonna walk around like that. I shaved it all off, looked in the mirror, and I was like, yeah. Alright, this'll work. Then now I ain't got to worry about shampoo no more. I ain't got to worry about gray hair no more, and I ain't got to worry about it falling out. But you women can't do that. Okay? Because I know that's the same pattern. When you damage your hair so much, you start dyeing it. Then when you dye it, it gets grayer and grayer, so you got to dye it more and more and more, and then you notice your hair is thinning out. So, it's not the end of the world. You just got to stop putting those chemicals in your hair. There's many natural remedies that you can use. There's what's called co-washers. And they are conditioners that are designed to clean your hair but leave your natural oils and stuff in your hair. It doesn't dry all your natural oils and stuff that comes in your hair naturally. It doesn't dry all that out. You can look it up online. There's co-washers. They're called co-washers. And there's home remedies too that you can use. Apple cider vinegar with baking soda. And that's really good. That's really good. It's really good. It's really good hair. Co-washers are conditioners that are designed to soften and clean your hair where you still have that. Oh, that's so fluffy. You can still have that. You just find these stuff. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can. Find a couple things. I'm no expert or nothing, but I learned all this stuff, on the internet. The internet is a good thing if you don't let it control you. You can find out things you need to know about anything. Just gotta learn how to use the internet. Quit using it for things that aren't important. Let's see. Yeah, apple cider vinegar and baking soda. A good way to wash your hair. You use, I think it's one tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with so much water, and you just pour it on your head and you suds it in and everything. But my guess is, my best thing I can tell you is to look it up, the co-washers for washing hair. Go online, look it up. There's several names, and there's one there, I don't remember the name, but it was very common. So it should be easy to find. And, when you go to the store to look for a shampoo, look for something that don't have sulfate and silicone in it. Find something there that's more natural. And take care of your hair. And I decided to do this little chat because, like I said, in a lot of my relationships, I went through that. You use a shampoo, and and I was allergic to it. I have asthma, so it gave me an asthma attack. you know, and nose stuffy and everything. Think about it. You use a shampoo, and your partner or your child, you come around them and they have an allergic reaction to that shampoo. They start sneezing, or maybe you might have tried a shampoo before and you sneezed and had allergies and everything. You know, think about that. What there's something in that shampoo that shouldn't be there. It's a chemical. And you're having an allergic reaction, or your child or your partner is having an allergic reaction to that. There can't be nothing in that shampoo that's good for you if it's causing that for them. What is it doing to your hair? So, just be on the lookout. You know, look at the ingredients of things before you buy it. Go online. Use your internet the right way. Go online and you see sulfite there, go online and Google it. What is sulfite? What is silicone? And Google it. Look at some, and I'm for everything, even food. Look at the ingredients and ask yourself if that ingredient is good or not. Ask Google. Ask Meta. Meta, that's what it's there for. It's not just whatever. I ain't gonna say nothing. I don't want to say too much. You know how that is. But ask Meta. Look at some of the ingredients and the stuff you buy and ask. Go online, man. You people really, a lot of people out there really abuse the internet. You don't know the value of the internet without letting it consume you. Use it the way you're supposed to use it. And you look at these ingredients and you ask, what is this? What is that? And then you can see for yourself. You don't have to listen to me. See it for yourself. There's not enough of that in this world today. We're in a world where everybody believes what they hear. I don't care who's saying it, why they're saying it, if it's real or not. Just believe what you hear. And a lot of you women out there think with your emotions. You know? One of the reasons that inspired me to do this is a friend of mine. I go over his house. You know, we were supposed to get together and have a couple drinks. And I went over his house. And him and his wife was having an argument. And I walk right in the middle of it. And not only did I walk in the middle of it, but he dragged me into it. You know, I know them both very well, so, you know, I mean, I know him well enough that he dragged me into it, you know. Okay, so what's up? So he said she's using a perfume that he is allergic to. And, you know, he sneezes and it just messes him up, you know, big time, you know. And he's been trying to tell her about this, but she wants to use it anyway. And he's asking me, is he right? Is he right? Is he right to feel this way? And I'm trying to stay out of it, right? But since he dragged me into it and she's up in my face like, you know, like she wants to hear the answer too. So I had to tell the truth because that's what I believe in. Telling the truth, no matter how bad it hurts you. The truth is the truth. So I said, Trish, if your son was here and living with you, and every time you wore that perfume, it messed him up. Eyes, nose, everything. He's sneezing, coughing, choking. And it does that to your child. And you know it's that perfume. Would you stop using it? She said, yeah, of course. That's my baby. Yeah, of course. Darn right I stopped using it. That's my baby. And I looked at her and I said, Trish, is your man as important to you as your child that you would stop using it for him too? She was like, yeah, you know, it dawned on her. Yeah, yeah, of course. Trish, stop using it. If he is just as important as your child, stop using it. There's other stuff that you can use that won't bother him. And that was the end of that. And that's what inspired me to do this. You know. So, I hope this taught you something about your hair, because I know how people care about their hair. You know. It's okay. I lost mine for the same reason, but you don't have to lose yours. You can keep your hair. You know, let it grow, get gray naturally, not by chemicals you're putting in it. There's a lot of good stuff out there that you can use. Just don't use the bad stuff. Okay? Just because it smells good. Think with this, not your emotions and feelings. I got nothing else to say.